the location you want. So to that person it can be a solution. But if you are going to put in resources, money, time, effort, you need to build that thing because it's very easy to have ideas. But there's a common saying that said ideas are easy, execution is where the problem is. I even mentioned something to some students yesterday, and I was like, do you know that any idea you might have now, the idea I'm now when I'm saying ideas, I'm not just limiting it to tech ideas about mobile app or websites. It can be a business. It can be a style of a clothes that you have in mind, style of a dress. Like, oh, how a fashion designer can make this? This just makes sense. It can be anything. It can be a business, like I said also. Oh, you know what? What if I'm a vendor for uh Yamarita or pizza or something? Some commodity that people be interested in buying. It's an idea. But you know that the same way you have that idea, there are several persons like you that also have that idea. Let's find it hard to believe because there's this tendency for us to want to feel special. So no, this idea came to me, like, it's my idea, it's my idea. As long as we are humans, there are over 7 billion people on this earth. There's a likelihood that there are more than 1 million people that also think like you. So even if we don't want to accept it because we want to feel special, so it's very likely someone also has that idea also. So, but before you, okay, someone has an idea, but the reason why not everybody might be building that idea you have, because most times when you get those amazing ideas, you look around and you're like, nobody's building it or nobody has built it. Uh, yes, it's outside. Okay, sorry about that. I wanted to. There was a noise in my environment, so I need to make sure that it was not getting to the cover. Anyway, let's move on. So you might look around and say, oh, nobody has built this thing because, or nobody has done this idea you have, nobody has started this business, nobody has created this thing because, uh, so for that reason, only you are the only one to have the idea. For that reason, you are kind of like special, like you have a God given idea. You can call it's all God given, but even God that gives us ideas is expecting something or any whatever God is to you. So the reason why those people are not acting on those ideas is the same reason why you may not be acting on it. To turn those ideas to reality, you need to invest real effort. It requires time, it requires resources because you might end up spending money. It requires a lot of dedication and commitment. And for that reason, many people that have the idea like you are not doing it because they lack these things. Maybe they are suffering from procrastination or they are waiting for the right they are waiting for the right resources or they don't have the resources yet to execute it. So you get. So basically, it costs something to be able to turn an idea to a product, to something real that people can use and see. So if you know it's going to cost you that much to turn an idea to a product or something, and you are doing it in the hopes that people will use this thing. So let's say let's go back to that our Uber for dogs or boat for pets. You see, the app that allows you to order rides for your pets to go around. So in your mind, you're imagining you are not just the one that will use this thing. Because if it's only you that want to use it, why build a mobile app? You can just get the phone number of a cab rider or something. Most people that actually do use or rather use this kind of solutions. That's what they do. But if you are saying you want to make an app, that means you are hoping other people would actually find this thing useful too. Other people may also have this problem. How can they move their pet around? So you are hoping that they also use your app. So you need to be sure. Will other people use that your app? So that will lead you to ask certain questions. So you don't waste your time and put so much resources turning that your idea to a product and nobody uses it. In fact, people actually even curse the app. They're like, ah, what kind of rubbish app is this? In fact, hearing the idea, it may sound amazing to you. To them, they might even be laughing. Say, ah, why would I need to order a ride on the app for my dog? Can't I just drive the dog there? So several things. So this is what differentiates a product manager from just anybody that may have an idea or any random founder that will just say, oh, I have an idea, let's start building. A product manager will guide you through the process of validating that idea to ensure that you don't waste your resources and build something that people will not use because you will cry. Sorry to say, but it's the truth. You will cry. By the, by the time reality sets in, I see that you have spent a lot of resources and everything building it and nobody's using it. They don't even like it. You feel very bad. And you feel pain because those effort and things you put in, it's more like that's gone to waste. So product manager would help a founder or help a company or a business avoid this problem of wasting resources and building what people don't want. They help you validate the idea. They help you check that this thing people actually need it, and they guide the creation of that idea to make sure that it is built in a way that it's pleasing to people. Every like now, those apps are in your favorite list. Besides the fact that they are solving the need that you have, okay, let's name them. Are you okay, Sonia? I want to ask you a question now that you have to reply. Are you on TikTok?
Yes, sir.
You use TikTok often?
Yes, sir. Not really.
What about Facebook?
No, I'm not on Facebook.
What about WhatsApp?
Yes.
Instagram?
Not active like that.
Okay. OP?
Yes.
Okay. Rather than me guessing, can you just tell me? We're able to establish that like theory now. Can you just complete it? I need five apps you use often, probably even daily. But if it's weekly, like you use it more than um, five, more than up to 5 days in a week or 4 days in a week, or some even use them every day. So can you just like name five of those apps?
Yeah. I would say mostly my bank app.
Okay.
Then I use my Gmail
Okay.
to respond to email. Then um TikTok, but not always. Just
Okay.
once in a while.
Okay.
Then WhatsApp.
Then WhatsApp.
Yes.
That's four now. That's four you listed.
Okay, let's just say Instagram.
Instagram.
Mm.
Okay. Now, do you know what these apps are? They're in your favorite list,
Yes, sir.
and they are all doing something for you. Two of those apps are within the entertainment industry. So they are satisfying a need for you, which is the need for entertainment, which is TikTok, Instagram. The other two are in the finance industry. They are satisfying a need for you, which is your need to be able to do conduct financial transactions. You want to be able to send money, whether it's to make a payment or something, all from the convenience of your phone. Then the last, which is Gmail. Okay, you said Gmail and WhatsApp. Okay, okay, Gmail and
Yes.
WhatsApp too. Then your bank app is a fintech related app. So Gmail and WhatsApp, they are doing something for you also, which is communication. They are helping you easily communicate with people from within Nigeria, even outside of Nigeria, basically anywhere in the world with ease. WhatsApp is more for local use, so you can really send fast messages between people you know that are most likely within your environment, your space, because your contact lists are people you know directly. Gmail is for sending official information, can be between any organization anywhere in the world. So it's satisfying a need for those two apps are satisfying a need for you, which is your need for communication. So you see, they are in your favorite list and use them every day because they are meeting a need for you every day. You have these needs every day: need for communication, entertainment, and financial transaction. That are your favorite list. Now, despite them being satisfying a need for you, why those apps in particular? Because there are some I even mentioned, you said no, you don't use it. Why those apps in particular? There are other options, alternatives that exist to those apps, like your bank apps. There are other bank apps there also. Um, WhatsApp, the other alternative to WhatsApp, the other social media or internet communication apps there. In fact, even apps like Facebook and the rest, they have their Facebook Messenger and others that like does almost the same thing with WhatsApp. They Signal. Signal is an app. It's very fast. It's very close to WhatsApp. Several alternatives. Same with Gmail. They have various email services there. So why is it that you didn't pick those ones? You pick Gmail. Besides the idea of targeted marketing, but we'll not explore that side. Is that the satisfaction you gain from using those apps is enough for you. The user experience, your experience using those apps is very satisfactory. Imagine those apps were giving you issues. Let's say Gmail, you click on a particular mail, instead of it to load, it just takes so much time and doesn't show the message, or it cancels the operation and you have to go back and click again, or the apps that do is just touching itself, or you can't even find your mails are not organized. You cannot find someone sent you an email and the app doesn't even send you a notification. And tell you, well, I sent this mail to you days ago. You go into your inbox and you keep scrolling and you can't find it, but it's somewhere in the app. Maybe you even reach be able to reach their customer support and say, yeah, it's in your, just go here, it's inside of your app, but you can't navigate to that part. What is will likely happen? You will likely abandon that service, that app, and look for an alternative, especially if it comes by referral. Your friend say, you complete someone you know, and they're like, why not use this one? Why not use Outlook? Why not use Yahoo Mail? Why not use Hotmail? Those are different mail services. And like, those ones are better. You will definitely leave Gmail for those ones. So besides the fact they are meeting your need, the reason why you choose those particular apps to be your favorite app, despite other options existing, is that the user experience you gain from them is satisfactory. You don't have problem with use Gmail. If you are looking for anything, you can just type on the search bar, you see it. You can, in fact, even organize all your mails in different categories: promotions, primary, important. You can create even more categories, customized categories. So Gmail is after helping you access those information with ease. They don't want you to have any struggle at all. In program management, we call it friction. They don't want you to have any friction while using the app. Nothing that will make you like trying to wonder where this is, where that's at, or anything that will make you feel frustrated. No. Same with your bank app. Same with WhatsApp, TikTok. In fact, those ones, you only call them master of addiction. They make your stay in the app so pleasant that you may not even want to leave. It's very easy to just to pass time on TikTok. We all know that. It's not a bad thing. In a product management view, it's a proof that the product manager did a very good job on that app. Yes. In fact, that's why it's counted amongst the successful. That's why it's a successful product in the first place. They have a lot of users, and that's why it's in your favorite list. That's why you've not left it for Snapchat or something else. It is giving you the ultimate user experience you want. You are very satisfied when you use it. For instance, the algorithm keeps showing you videos that you like to see. It doesn't show you. In fact, the user experience is so good that sometimes, even on TikTok, in the comment section, if you see a particular comment, TikTok try to gauge your reaction to that comment. They'll be like, is this comment offensive? Do you find it violating? If you should respond to that mini survey they put there, the system will instantly learn from that your response and start next time when it sees a comment that is similar to that. It doesn't have to be exact, it will hide it. So they want you to feel so at home. You should feel at home using the app. You should love it, you should enjoy it. You shouldn't find any reason to be offended while using it. You should satisfy that need, and not just satisfy it very well. So that's the job of a product manager, to ensure that it's not just to build it, but to ensure that the experience users get from using that app is very satisfactory, hence making a successful product. So in this session, we've talked about what product management really means. We'll also explore the different types of product managers and what product managers do day to day. I'll walk you through a particular scenario as a product manager, because I'm a product manager, and this is what I do day to day. I'm going to take you into my day-to-day activities using a very close example, how we turn ideas to products and how we manage them. Now, having said what product management entails in terms of a user perspective. To understand these points here, I would like to also let you know, enlighten you about um, who a project manager works with. Because, first of all, I believe you're already aware that we don't write codes. Project managers don't write code. We're not writing software or learning Python or learning, no, we don't do that. We design sometimes, but we're not the one responsible for doing the hands-on design. There's a designer that does it. So how are we not building these products? It's very obvious that we are working with other people who have the skills to build the product, but we are responsible for what they build. It's more like this. To build an app, you need a programmer, right? As a product manager, you have to work with a programmer to build the app, the software engineer. To design the interface you see in the app. Okay, before I explain this, I want to ensure that there's a diagram I'll show to you. Yeah, this is. This will help me explain better to you. Now, having understood what product management is about, like it's about building products, getting those ideas, validating them, ensure that they are useful, and turning those products to be successful, ensuring they satisfy the user. Now, that's just in the surface. Now, if you want to go hands-on into product management cuts across 3 fields, which you are seeing in this diagram here. There's the UX. I believe you can see my cursor on the screen. User experience. This was what I was talking about the user experience in the app, ensuring that it's very pleasing, that people actually love and enjoy using that product, that they don't want to leave, so that they don't go and use your competitor on. And like what I'm saying now is what actually happens in reality. All those social media apps you see, they are more like in a tug of war for your attention. Everybody wants you to be their user. Everybody wants you to be their user, because having you as their user means more activity on their app, which they can monetize. We'll learn about that in this business aspect. So they want you to be their user. They're all about giving you the best experience ever. So as a product manager, it's your duty to ensure that besides, after you've made sure that that idea is something worth building, what people would like to use, then you actually build it. In the process of building it, you also ensure that it is you deliver a product that is very pleasing for people to use. Now, that aspect I just described and explained is under this category called user experience. Now, there's the aspect of product management called tech. Now, like I said, you are not writing code. Most times when we hear about tech, we just like think, okay, is that you are UI/UX designer, or you're a front-end programmer or developer or a back-end developer. You are just typing codes on your system. We interact in the tech aspect in the sense that we tell these experts what to build. A typical team in a company like where I work in now, I'm a product manager, but I have a team. On the team, I have engineers, software engineers, mobile developer, web developer, backend developer. They are working together to build the app. Okay, did I mention the name of the app? Maybe to just be, if you can, just go on Play Store or App Store, or depending on the device you use, just search ALN Riders or ALN Delivery. You see it. So that's the product I currently manage. So I'm engineers, designers on my team, and they are responsible for doing the hands-on coding. Now, like I said, programmers don't code, right? So who does the coding? Obviously, it has to be someone else, which is those engineers. So on my team, the software developers, they're the one that actually do the hands-on coding, turning those ideas I give to them, those directions, those functional, those requirements, say, okay, this is how the app should be, this is what it should do, to ensure that it's very pleasing to the user. They're the one responsible for turning those things to actual products that you now see, like those codes that eventually becomes the app that you download on Play Store. But the direction of what this the relationship between myself as a product manager and tech, I usually describe it like this. Those engineers, designers, they are experts in their field, but if you have it's more like a farmer Um, how would I put this? It's more like a tool and a farmer. Let me put it that way. Yeah, a tool and a farmer, but a very smart tool. Very, very smart tool. Because they are persons that think about themselves, and I'll explain why I want to call them to be very smart tools. Let's say a smart vacuum cleaner. You give it directions, and you don't need to walk around and push it about. It just goes around. You know those kind of those devices exist now. Smart vacuum cleaners or robot vacuum cleaners, like traditional vacuum cleaners, you have to hold it by the hand and start moving about every corner of your house you want to take away the trash. But there are smart versions that you don't need to walk around with it. You just give instruction on where to go and clean and to go and clean it and return back to its position. So I would like to liken my tech team like that. But still, a smart vacuum cleaner might be smart, might be very efficient. It has the skills, it has all the tools to clean any surface that you want it to clean. But who is going to, if you don't tell it what to clean, it won't clean. Or it might go and start cleaning and clean anywhere, or probably an area that it doesn't even need to be clean. Imagine you just put it on loose and you went to your neighbor's house and start cleaning your neighbor's house. Yes, it's cleaning something, but does that benefit you? It doesn't. It doesn't benefit you and purpose why you bought it. Or it goes and start cleaning, trying to clean. What that is? Let me use somewhere within the house. Probably a room, a storage room that you don't use often. So to you, there's no really point of cleaning it often. You are more interested in cleaning those areas that you always walk around in, your kitchen area, your living room. So imagine just let it loose and just go on that rampage. And mind you, as it's doing those things, it's burning electricity, like it's burning power. And one way or the other, you're paying for that power. So you would want to control his work to ensure that he's doing only things that matters to you or to your interest. So the tech team is like this. They are very skilled engineers, very wonderful designers. But who tells them what to build? If they are not giving directions on what to build, they can just go ahead and do anything or do nothing. Who tells the designer what to design? He might be very, very good, excellent with Figma, knows how to make very beautiful designs, but he needs directives on what exactly to design for your business or for a company. So that's the relationship between the product manager and those and the tech team. Product manager is now responsible for giving those directions, those directives on what to build. Now, in my company or where I work, if you want to work on a new feature, it all first starts with understanding the user need. I ensure that I do proper research, maybe from customers' feedback or observation or analyzing the market. I say, okay, there's an opportunity. That's okay. You know what? We're delivering. We're asking people to deliver their package from one. Currently, we're live in Benin. So if you don't have a package to deliver, you can download that app and you can get it. It's not like boats, but it's not boats. It's not Uber for pets like the example I mentioned earlier. But this is a very, very innovative solution. Um, Probably you're doing delivery for the first time and you're wondering, where do I get the rider's number? Rather than going to ask around, ask your friends and all that. Download the ALN Riders or ALN Delivery app, log onto the app, and create a delivery request. And in less than 10 minutes, a rider close to your location will be paired to you. If you've used boats before, you will know how that works. So the rider comes to your location, picks up your package, goes and deliver it, and you have to come. And the rider has to, like more like, will put you in control, that you have to confirm that yes, the rider has really delivered this thing before you make payment and all that. So very easy. So you can go and look it up. But when we are developing features, let me say, okay, I've observed the market, analyze, okay, we can include this feature to our services to satisfy our customers even more, or maybe expand to a new market. And I'm like, okay, let us, okay, how about we confirm now? We're not doing that. I'm just saying, for example, how about we make a service specific or focused on just delivering food? So users can come on our platform and there's a section whereby they can browse through a menu of food they want to eat. And we have a network of riders, we have a network of kitchens, restaurants, uh, both branded, unbranded, basically, and they can order food. So they don't need to stress about how the whole thing comes. They just make payments. Our riders go to those restaurants or kitchens and um, get the food or complete purchase and deliver it to their location. Now, that is an idea on the higher side, and I've validated it, talked to the owners, the founders, and said, okay, yeah, this is a very good business opportunity. Let's go into it. The next thing I'll need to do is start talking with the tech team. They may not even be aware I want to work on something like this. So this is how I'm going to now officially communicate this thing to them. I usually use documents called the product requirement document, but we'll learn about that later on the course. I just want to give you an introduction, a run through, a good idea of what a product manager actually do and what it entails. I'll write a detailed document stating every single thing that should be in that future. And if you don't know what a future means, sorry, it means for those that may not know what a future means, future basically, not when I say future, not F-U-T-U-R-E, it's F-E-A-T-U-R-E. It's more like components of, in terms of products, software products, components of a software product. Let's say app. Like now, let me give you an example. OPay, for instance. OPay consists of several features, but you just see one app. And when you open it, there are several functions. There are several things OPay can do for you. It has several functions. You can buy airtime, you can buy data, you can send money, you can even pay bills, you can even take a loan. All those individual functions, they are what we call a feature, or features rather. So that airtime purchase is known as a feature on the OPay app. It's one of the things OPay can do for you. One of the things OPay app can do for you. So the program manager will call that a feature, basically, or in software development in general, the common language. That's a feature. So the tech team doesn't even know that I want to do this feature. So I have to develop a product requirement document where I will put in details exactly what should be in that feature, because it's not a new app on its own, it's an addition to an app that we already have. This is just an example I'm giving. Let's say in this case we're not building from scratch now. We want to just add something to what we already have. To detail what exactly will be there, I would give them a use case. What that use case does is that it describes how the user experience will go. Let's say a typical use case would be, for me, would be okay, once the user clicks on, there should be an icon, a food icon, first of all on the app. Once the user clicks on that food icon, it should show them a menu consisting of images of different food. I'm already describing the user experience for the developer. So when the developer wants to start building, he doesn't need to start thinking or bring his own ideas. I've given him like a blueprint, a map of what this app will become. So now you should now use that your skill and turn those things into code that becomes the app eventually. So whether he wants to use Python to program it or another language, that's up to him to use. But at the end, the results should be exactly as it was described. So program managers are responsible for telling the tech team what to do, more like guiding them. In my last class, I call them more like North Star. I don't have to go into the whole. I had to explain what North Star means, but just go along with me. It basically means you are giving direction to the team. So then the business aspects. After being concerned about the customer, what they like, what they need to do, then the tech, that is talking to the tech team, knowing how to translate those ideas into product requirements that the tech team will turn to the product eventually. Then there's the business aspect. Now, in as much as you want to make life easy for customers, yeah, you want to build that product, that solution, that app that allows them order bakery. Okay, let me use something demure. Okay, let's say some app that allows them order pizza. You want to make life easy for them. You want to build the boats that allows them easily order a ride wherever they are, or you want to build another Facebook or that WhatsApp. Any amazing ideas you have, in as much as you want to satisfy the user need with those your ideas, that your idea should be able to make money. Yes. because you will not spend all your time and effort building something for people to use, because you are going to spend money while building it. You are going to spend money. For instance, your developers, these people working with you, you are going to pay them. Like, yeah, you're going to pay them. You have to spend money on probably marketing. If you've run a business before, you understand more what I'm talking about. In fact, there's no business that doesn't spend money to actually achieve their goal. Even as simple as the woman selling akara on the street, she has to raise capital to get those equipment she will use. She has to continually procure resources, simply that way, or rather items that she needs to make her products, which is the beans, the other items, and she has to even pay another third-party person, which is the person that grants those crush those beans and whatever ingredients she mix inside to turn it to the paste that she will fry. We also find that even in software development. Most of these apps you are seeing, they also leverage the services of other software providers, which we call third-party services. You might have seen that term before. You know those when you are signing up in our app, you see terms and conditions. If you just by mistake click that terms and conditions, most people don't read it. But when you click it, you definitely see that term, third-party services. If you want, you can look it up also. Basically, third-party means that you are working, you are providing a service to someone, but you're also employing the services, or rather, you're also paying for the service of another person for you to be able to provide your own service. Just like the Akara woman, the people that are running the business of grinding beans and the rest. So it's more like patronizing on that service to create products that you patronize. So that's what that just basically means. So every business owner knows that you spend money to develop products. So I won't use a business as simple as Akara. And you see how detailed it is. From the process alone, you should know that a lot of money is going to go into it. How much more you want to build a tech product? You will spend money. You would employ people. Yes. So you would employ people. You would spend money on even probably marketing and everything. So would you want to now spend all those money and at the end, that thing you made for people to start using, let's imagine they all start using it and you are not making any money from it. First of all, you will not be able to sustain it because every business needs money to sustain it, even tech products. Those products you are seeing, many of them are paying for domain name. Like for you to even have that name, let's say www.facebook.com, it's a subscription they are renewing every year. I don't know if you are aware. Something happened with Best Ninja a certain year like that. The engineer in charge of renewing that name subscription didn't renew it, and somebody else went to buy that because it's like the people that maintain those names, those internet names you see, website names, it's like a company and they just sell to anybody. It's more like GoTV subscription. You pay for it and it's your own for that period of time. After your subscription expires, if you don't renew it, that person can buy it. So somebody is going to buy www.betniger.ng. Somebody bought their name, their website name, which means they don't have the right anymore to use that name. If you type www.betniger.ng, it will not redirect to the BetNiger that people know. It will redirect to probably another website that the person designed and called BetNiger. Or if there's no website attached to it, it's just so that someone knows his domain name. And okay, on your browser it may appear as error 404. So you guys couldn't find any information. So that created a problem for the company because they had to buy back that name from the person that bought it. And as it was said, as at then, they spent 65 million naira to buy back that website name from the person that bought it. So that was just a mistake that would have been avoided anyway if the engineer actually did his job. Typically, to renew name subscription is not as expensive as buying from someone that already owns it. It shouldn't be more than 100,000, depending on the type of name. So I won't go into those details for now. So, but basically, just let you know that you spend money continuously to maintain that website or that app that you see running. Every of those products that are enjoying today, OPA, Facebook, they are spending money routinely to make sure that thing keeps working. besides the staff that they are paying, the engineers they are paying to, the product manager they are paying to continue to oversee it and maintain it. They're also spending money in terms of the technology that's powering it. So you're going to be spending money for that your idea, that your solution that you built, that's your Uber for dogs or your new type of Facebook or WhatsApp. So it won't make sense that you're spending money and the thing is not bringing back any money. Because the whole purpose of solving problem for people is to make profit. Basically, that's it. For people that struggle to have business ideas, is that they are not thinking from a problem-solving perspective. A business is basically a system that solves problem for people. As simple as it sounds. Somebody is selling cold water on the highway. They are solving a problem. People are thirsty on the highway, but they are currently in a moving vehicle, so they can't stop and go to one shop by the roadside and get. Someone will say, okay, instead of you doing that, I can bring it closer to you. I've solved your problem. And then you reward them for solving that problem by paying them the cost of the water and the added fee they put to it. That's now called their profit. So same thing in technology, in all these tech products. It is a business. Even those free products you use on Google and the rest, on Facebook, it's not that Facebook love you so much. Of course, they love you, that's why they want you to be very satisfied with the product. But they are not doing it because of, if you hear their mantra from Mark Zuckerberg, so why did you do Facebook? It says to connect the world, or we'll learn about that. It's called product vision, but we'll learn it along the line in the course. So it's to connect the world, to connect people together. It's not just connecting the world, though. It's also a business. It's also to make profit. And you might not be paying that on Facebook basically now. If I do social media apps, you may not be paying directly to them because you don't pay a fee to use TikTok or to use Facebook every month or every week. It's just basically free. All you need to have your data. But they are making money from those apps. One, they charge businesses to advertise on those apps because Facebook, for instance, have over 2 billion users. No, sorry, over 3 billion users. That's like half the population of the world using their app. And I think they have, let's say out of that 3 billion, only 1 billion are actually, some people just create accounts and leave it. They say only 1 billion actually on Facebook every day. So that's wide. That's a lot of volume that they can turn to money. So 1 billion people on their app every day. They have the attention of 1 billion people. Businesses will want to advertise with that. So if they put their ad on Facebook, they can likely reach 1 billion people. Doesn't mean your ad reach 1 billion people. There's a whole dynamics to Facebook ad, but that's the whole idea. Your business can be seen by 1 billion people. And that's why people love Facebook ads, social media ads, not just Facebook, social media ads, because it converts. People will see what you are selling, and if you did your brand, your ad message very well, they'll likely patronize you. You get, well, that's into marketing. Let's leave that aspect. So it's a business. Even at those apps that looks free, they are making money from it. They charge other businesses to come and advertise, and sometimes they sell your data. I won't say data, not like the internet subscription. The information they gather about you, those information you provide, those posts you make, your age, your location, your biography, those are in tech, we call those things data. That's why there's another feed in tech called data analysis. Data analysis rather. Those are valuable information that can be used to do something. Yeah. So not to really divert, so I won't like to go into deep world just exploring what they can be used for, but just know those things are valuable and they can actually be sold. So it's a business. Every tech product you see is a business. It's to make money, profit. So as a program manager, you are also the bridge between the business owners, the goals of the business, and the customer and the technology. That's why I would say you are here in the middle of these three. Like in my own typical day-to-day now, in fact, there's no day I don't receive messages from the founder, the company I work with. There's no day I don't, hardly any day I don't receive messages. Always, even the marketing team, is that one customer complaints or the rest, because we're out to make money. And if customers start becoming dissatisfied with our service or with our products, our app, it's likely that we might lose that customer, and we don't want that. We don't want to lose any customer. In fact, we want more customers. So The business owner, his first concern when he sees a customer complaint is, oh, I'm not satisfying the customer. This might lead to losing that customer. I don't want to lose that customer. Reach out to me, product manager. Says, okay, this is what even the marketing team like, oh, someone is complaining about this, someone said this and this. If it's something that can be fixed by tech, I reach out to tech immediately and we start planning about how to fix it. I give them directions what to exactly do. If it's a new feature, let's say it's a suggestion, customer say, oh, I would really like if this thing can be like this, so it will be very helpful for me. And that information, that feedback comes back to me. I go into research. Even if a customer likes it or suggest it, doesn't mean I'll just go into building. After research, okay, and if I say, okay, is this actually something worth building? Okay, how many people eventually use this thing if we should build it? Because we cannot spend money in build products for just one person to use. It has to be something that satisfies a lot of people, and that's why that is the hallmark of a successful product. It doesn't just satisfy one person. It meets the needs of a lot of persons. And in business, volume is profit basically. The more customers you have, the more profits. So that's why you as a product manager, you are the bridge between the business and the other aspects of software, of developing that product, the tech, the customer. You listen to customer feedback, customer complaints, and you relate it to tech, relate it to business. Customer can give feedback. You have to sometimes it's not just tech. You have to circle back with the business. The business in this case can represent, let me say, the founder. In very large organizations, it can involve a lot of persons. You just basically bracket them as the executives. May not just be even speaking directly with the founder. I'm speaking with the chief of finance, the chief of operations, the chief of, and so on and so forth. Most times, that's why you hear things like board meetings, boardroom, and all that. If you are familiar with those corporate terms. So it's vast, depending on the size of the organization or the size of the business. Depends. Like in something like Microsoft now, which we're even using one of their products, which is this Teams. This Teams app you are using is a product of Microsoft. There's a product manager in charge of Teams in Microsoft. And before he makes any changes or imbibe any suggestion, he has to circle back he has to make his research first of all properly, then circle back with the business owners, with tech basically, with business owners. Sorry, with the business owners. Okay, they're beginning to explore. Okay, is this something worth investing our resources into? Should we really put resources into building this, and so on and so forth? So you are that bridge. You are the main person. So having understood the rules of a product manager, or what a product manager does, or what they are, let's just look at what they are not. As a product manager, you are not the boss of the team. I know after explaining all this, you might likely feel like, okay, how does that really correlate? Okay. Someone took control and left this call and close my slides. I'll need to change the admin permission. Alright, just give me a moment. I'll give it back up. Now I'm not letting that person back in. Arinola, please don't let that person back in, that MSC. I don't know who that person is, but I let them into...
Alright. Alright, no problem, sir.
Okay. Okay. All right, we're saying what a product manager is not. I mean, I've described these things of how I give directions to my engineering team and the rest. As a product manager, you are not the boss in the sense that the traditional sense of what a manager is. like a manager in traditional businesses is that okay, you can easily sack an employee or something like, oh, why didn't you do this? You sack them, more reduce your salary. No, a product manager, as a product manager, you don't. Um, those are not within your power or your rules. Let me put it that, not really power. Sorry, let's leave that out. Those are not within your rules. It's not your responsibility to say, okay, fire your employee. No, no. You work with them. In fact, part of one of the things you do as product manager is that you try to reduce conflict as much as possible. Yes. And this is what is called professional communication. We'll learn about that when we need to study stakeholder management in the course. Part of what you do is to help the team remove conflicts. Anything that would, because you are on a, let me say you are more like on a, let me put it like you're on a timer. There's a time constraint whatever you are doing. You need to push out a future. Customers are complaining. You need to get that up as fast as possible to ensure they don't leave and that complaint stops. See that there's already a time constraint there. It will be a waste of time if part of that time is spent arguing or certain differences. So part of what you do is managing team collaboration to ensure that there's no friction. We call those things blockers or friction. Because if you're supposed your developer is supposed to be working on something and probably the developer and the designer are now disagreeing on something, they basically stop working and they're focusing on that thing. That's a blocker that needs to be removed. So part of what you do is even removing those obstructions. So it's not within your role to me to say, okay, fire this one, fire that one. And not as much as I'm telling these engineers what to build, it's not my responsibility to tell them how exactly you go about building that. I give them the directive. I made example of a use case. Let's say I said maybe in my product and product management now, let's say I want to put in a feature that allows people order food directly from restaurants and it comes to them, not just send packages or non-edible things. This time edible things. I give them the user flow. This is how it should go. Once the user clicks on this icon, it should open this, it should show this, it should show that. I will not go and start telling them, okay, you will use Python programming language to write this, or okay, you use this API, or you use, that is not my role. It's up to the engineer. That's why when I mentioned describe relationship between the team, the tech aspect of product management and the product manager, I say it's more like a smart tool. I use that word smart. Like a smart vacuum cleaner can act independently on its own once given the directives it need. You don't start, there's no remote controller to start turning it, okay, turn left, turn right, clean it. Once you give it the directive, it goes there, it finds the dirty, cleans it up. So it's somehow similar to the relationship between the product manager and the tech aspect, which is the tech team, the development team, I call them that. It's up to them to not find, they still use their problem solving initiative. Okay, the product manager gives us a product requirement and it's something that is buildable. Because we'll get into all that. So it's something that is buildable. So also now find, okay, so what technology should we use? Should we use Node.js? Should we use, I'm saying all this in because I talk with them daily, so I'm familiar with these things. I'm not saying you need to know these terms as a product manager. You're not hands-on into coding, so that's not really your field or responsibility. It stops in technical or accurately describing the requirements for a product. So from engineer perspective, they'll be asking themselves questions like, okay, should we use Node.js? Should we use this? How should we design the system architecture? That's when I use the word design, it's not the usual design, you know, it's something else. It's more like planning how the code will be and all that. So it's up to them to do that. I don't go and start telling them, oh, you use this one, the code must, no. Or you must write clean code. No. If they write rubbish code and the app starts being slow, I'll give them that task. Why is the app slow? I will give them requirements. Now this app is currently loading at this particular time. I want this app to start loading at less than 0.2 seconds. How they solve that is not really, as long as it's something possible. That's another thing about as a programmer. You need to know what is possible, and you develop that skills as you continue in this course. You need to know what is possible. You don't tell them something impossible. As long as it's something possible, it's up to them to now use their problem solving skills to do that. So you are not the boss. You don't have that. You don't have this bossy attitude as a traditional manager does. No. In as much as you're directing them, you're also collaborating with them. You guys are working together. You're not just acting as a supervisor, checking the mistakes they make and what they got right. You are collaborating. All right. Also, you are not a project manager. A lot of people ask this question a lot. What's the difference between project management and product management? And I always tell them the difference is in the amount of time you spend with a product, which in product management we call the software development life cycle, and we'll learn about that. We'll learn about that soon. So, a project manager, because there are different type of project managers, but in this case, we're looking at project managers in tech industry, because there are also project managers in tech industry. Project manager doesn't understand the product as much as a product manager do. Two, let me give you an example, a good scenario to explain the difference between the two. Let's say a school wants to build a website. They want to digitize their operations. Now, currently, they are writing everything on paper. Everything is just in files and physical copy. Now, they want it to be on the internet. They want it to be on the database that they can access anytime. They want parents able to log into a website and see the scores, the grades of their child, and know how well they are doing. So it's a big project for the school. So they need someone to be able to plan and organize that project. There's going to be money spent in it. There's a timeline for that and so many things. In fact, part of product management, which makes product management superior to project management, is that we understand this how even project management works. We'll learn about all that in the course. So a IT project manager will come and supervise that initial building of the website. Like, he puts the timeline, he helps them get the people that would go on the team. He might even be involved in employing the product manager, funny enough, and all that. So he's not managing a product, he's just managing a project. The project it doesn't really have to be tech focused. Like, project can be anything. You want to build a house, that's a project. Doesn't make your project manager an engineer or a civil engineer. Like most of these government constructions they do, there's a project manager overseeing it, but doesn't make him a civil engineer. You can't tell them this is how the bridge will look. His own is to put the right people and the right resources, manage the resources with the right people to ensure that, okay, that thing is delivered. Once the job is complete, his job is over. He leaves. Who now keeps on maintaining that bridge and all that? It might be a separate contract with the construction company that doesn't involve the project manager anymore. The project manager have done his part. As long as, let's say it was a bridge we're building, the bridge is completed, he has done his part, he has done his job. If it lasted for 6 months, it's up, it goes. How to continue keep maintaining that bridge? Up to the civil engineer and the client, in this case with the government. Same thing in tech. If let's say we made the example, right, about the school and their website and make everything digital. Let's say they hired a project manager even employed a product manager. He recommended, he didn't employ, he recommend, because he doesn't really have that power to say. He recommend, okay, you need to employ this person, and all that. In fact, you can even go and consult a product manager. Say, okay, how do I go about this? And as a product manager, I'll tell you, okay, you need an engineer on this thing, you need this and this and this. So, but once that website is up and running, his job is done, he leaves. But who maintains that website? If I tell you, I made an example where I'm letting you know that all these websites and apps you're using, they actually pay subscription for some of those things to keep on running, like the domain name, the server. You don't really need to. Okay, we'll talk about this one at down and all that. So somebody has to be in charge of managing those things. And you notice that some websites and some apps you use time to time, they change, right? Like they upgrade. Today you update your WhatsApp and you see that you are seeing a whole different interface. The colors are different, the icons are different. It's now doing more amazing things that it did before. Probably before it could not, like for instance, every single feature you are using on WhatsApp today, I've explained what a feature is. From the very beginning when they made WhatsApp, they were never there. There was nothing like status, there was nothing like video calls. There was nothing like OneView. There was nothing like voice notes. It was just a simple messaging app. But over the years, they kept releasing updates and they were adding new things. They gave you video calls, they gave you voice notes, they gave you status. You can now share your photos that will last for 24 hours. Now they give you channels. They are even putting ads now. All those innovations you see were the results of a product manager's efforts. The product manager was the one that said, okay, we can include this feature to make our user experience better. And he says that, okay, a lot of people they have done his research and said a lot of people are going to love this, and they go ahead and they build it. And you see, it's more like the app is becoming renewed every now and then. The person responsible for that continuous maintenance of the product is the product manager. So are we seeing the difference now between the project manager and the product manager? All right, let's move on. Cut time. So also, you are not a designer, not an engineer. I've explained this one before. But you work with them. So instead, you act as a bridge between the customer, the business, and the team. I will probably explain this. So let's go to this. Types. Okay, product manager role in action. Let's take, for example, although we've used a lot of examples so far, we've talked about Uber for dogs. Even my own product I'm managing, I even gave an example of a hypothetical future. I'm not saying we're not doing that now. I think, what if we did that? This is how I would go about as a product manager. Deliveries for consumables, basically food and restaurants and all that, creating a network of restaurants. So this is another example also. Let's imagine you want to build an app that helps students find affordable housing near campus. Now, I'll use this one as a use scenario and tell you how I'm going to approach it as a project manager. First of all, we've gotten an idea, which is build an app that helps them find affordable campus. And it is solving a problem. It wants to solve a problem, which is find affordable housing near campus. That means we're assuming that students have problem finding housing finding affordable housing near campus. But that's still an assumption. Let me say a founder just had this idea and came to me to develop this. This is just an assumption. The first question I'll ask is, do students have problem finding housing near campus? So I wouldn't want to build something that they will not use. Good thing now, we already know who is our target users, which is students. People that are going to use this app are going to be students. They are the ones that have this problem that we say they have and want to solve for. So we are solving problem for students. And the problem is finding affordable housing near campus. The question I'll ask is, these students want to solve this problem for, do they really have this problem? Even if they do, how many have this problem? So that to ensure that what we want to build is something that is really relevant, something that's actually going to solve a problem, not just what we think is a problem. Because you might assume that people have this problem and you build it at the end of the day and they don't use it because it was never their problem. Just like that Uber for dogs. Now, how many people actually own a pet and want to send their pets through a courier service or through a delivery service? Some might even be scared. Say, I too love my pet. Oh, Choo Choo. Oh, Jackie. I wouldn't want to entrust Jackie to a stranger. So the person that came on that idea might actually be willing to entrust his pet to the stranger, or is the one that have that problem. But other pet owners may not have that problem. They may not see it as a problem. In fact, they are more safe. They feel their pets more safe with them riding their pets themselves. Another question is, how many people even have a pet in Benin City? Let's use Benin City for instance. As most of you are living within Benin. How many people have a pet in Benin City? So that will tell you how many people can even use that your app. So you don't waste your time. Imagine you build a whole app and you spend like 2 million. That's a low budget. So on a low budget, you spend 2 million to pay and all that and build your app. Or let's say you're very, very strict. You're the kind of hustle kind of founder, and you spend just like 500K, something like that. And you build the app, finish. And only 10 people using it. And the money you are spending every year to maintain that app is probably 100K. No, 100K. Let's just do everything on a lean budget. Let's say you are spending 100K. And you are making nothing from that app. Customers are paying you nothing from that app. You just wasted your time. Or let's say they are paying you, and they are like paying you like 1,000 naira or total 5,000 naira a year. They say that's what they can afford. They don't have to pay anything more. And you just have 10 users. Down to the amount you are spending maintaining the app or how much you put into developing the app. So you basically would have wasted time and resources. So you will need to, as a program manager, I will need to know how many students have this problem. Do they even really have this problem? And the only way for me to know is to ask the students themselves. So the first step will be to interview the students to understand their housing struggle. I can create a survey. I can invite them for group sessions. Let me just gather, let's say 50 students. I'll go on campus. Let me say a group of 50 students in every faculty or every department, and I ask them questions. I'm like, okay, so what was your experience like looking for a house on campus? And someone will say, it was very bad. You see some within that. I'll say, oh, I didn't really have any stress. Someone just was about graduating. They gave me they just introduced me to the landlord, and that was it. I got the place. So you'll get positive and negative reviews. So you will now have to wait. Did more students say that they have this problem, or less students say they have this problem? Imagine you interviewed 100 persons, and let's say 80 said they have the problem. I mean, that's a valid problem. 80 out of 100 persons have this problem. That means if you are solving problem for 80 persons, and that's likely 80 users compared to just 10 that don't have the problem. That shows that is a real problem. What you've done is that you validated that problem. Now let's say only 20 out of them said they have that problem. I mean, it's not really a problem. Are you with me? So you imagine you are building that app for just 20 people. And some of them may not really have the problem. They may think they have the problem until the app comes out and they tell them, oh, will you pay for this? And say, pay cash. Then I can just trek around. So you need to validate that problem. I'll have to interview them, understand their housing struggles, and see that, okay, this is a real problem that real people actually have, and it's something they would likely want to pay for us to solve for them. So next, we'll go into the development. I have to work with designers to create the right user experience. I've explained to you how I do that. I'll write a use case. So designer is going to create how the app looks like. Like now, what you are seeing now on your screen is what we call the app interface or the user interface. All these things, they are just design elements, right? They are just design elements. But to you, they are not design elements because if you click them, they actually do something. They complete an action. If you click on this raise hand, you actually raise your hand. Like, it does something. It notifies me that, okay, somebody wants to ask a question. There's a reaction button. They basically all have functions. And they're having function because of design has married with code. Let me put it like that. Design and code has married. They are working in tandem to each other. Okay, have anybody heard about front end and back end before? If you have, just like, you can raise your hand or you can unmute to speak. You've heard of front end and back end in terms of tech. You've heard of those terms in tech before, front end, back end. Okay, so I was assume most don't. So every product you use, every software product you use, your app, your website, all consists of two parts. The part you see, which we call the front end, that's why it's called front end. Just imagine, let's take what object will I use now? Your car. Let's say your car. The front view of your car, you call it the front view, right? Or some people call it the boot, front bonnet, or whatever, any language, any term used for it. Then you have the rear end of your car. Some call it the trunk, some call it the back trunk, or anything. They can, but basically in standard terms, that's the rear end, and the other part is the front end. And they both have different designs, right? And different rules, different function. The front side is carrying the engine, the back side can carry your loads and everything and all that, and also to cushion against, just in case probably you're hit from the back. So same thing with this app. These websites, these mobile apps you're using, they have two parts. The front facing side, which is the part you as a user see. What you are seeing now in this Teams app that you're using to be on this call is you are seeing design elements and all that, and there's a mic icon, there's a camera icon, there's me, there's pictures of you, pictures of me, and all that. And you know that when you click these things, they do something. This is just the front end. And the reason why you can click these things and they do something, they work. You can click your mic icon and it mutes your mic, or you unmute your mic, and you see all of a sudden you can now be heard by others, or you can mute it and they can't hear what you are saying in your environment again. The reason why this thing is working and it's not just a mere design, something, a mere picture, because you have seen pictures, you can see view pictures on your phone or your PC and they are static. You don't click them and they do something. But this one you're clicking and they are doing something. It's because of the back end. Those codes that the developers write, those programming codes and language and everything, exist on what we call the back end. As you are clicking this front, it's talking those codes in the back. Why we call it back end? Because you don't see it, you don't see them, but they are happening inside your computer. They are happening inside your phone. Maybe you click this button, something starts happening. Those codes, they start making rearrangement and all that. They become active basically to give you the output that you need. Let's say the action has also happened here when you click this mic. Now, when I clicked it, something started happening on the back end. And the back end knows that the result is also bring is that mute the mic. And stop, close the microphone. As it use, other users should not be able to hear what this user is now saying. And it does just that. You get. So, but development always begins from design, because how this thing will look, all these things you are seeing, all these icons, somebody designed it. Somebody designed it. It's not magic. Like somebody had to say draw a mic here, draw a camera here and all that, then give those designs to the developers to now make it alive, add code. As a program manager, I've told them that there must be a mic button that when you click it, it closes, it turns off the mic. The designer said, okay, there should be a mic. So what will I use to show the users, the customer, that there's a feature on this app that can make you off and turn on your mic? So okay, let me use an icon. Designer choose the type of icon you use, and you choose this one that we're seeing now. So the next thing after you interview your students is that you work with designers to craft that user experience. As a program manager, you describe the user experience you want your users to have. Designer now turn these things to working designs. It was a project manager that said that these icons here should be at the top for my PC view. On your mobile view, it might be at the bottom part of the screen, and it's there for a reason. This is the interesting part about product user experience design as a product manager. The reason why they will put those icons at the bottom of your screen is because they've observed your behavior as a human being. And when you hold your phone, your hands can only reach so far to the second part of the screen. But the closest part, the part of your screen that's closest to your hands or that your fingers can easily reach, is the bottom part of your screen. Am I right or wrong? In fact, I would say, am I right or right? Because it's right. You can easily reach the bottom part of the screen. You can touch things at the bottom of the screen. But for instance, when you want to draw down your notification bar or the control center where you off your data connection on that, sometimes you see that you have to change hands in holding your phone and now pull it down or pull it up and all that. So, but when the things that whatever you want to reach or press is at the bottom side, you don't have to change hands. You can easily touch them. That's why the program manager decided that it has to be at the bottom. That is user experience design. So once I give those criteria to the designer, it's one that will allow me to, okay, put those icons there and all that and all that. The next is prioritize features based on what matters most. We'll learn more about this one because time is almost up. No longer our side. I still want to like reach everything today, but let me just breeze through it. Last class I gave a very detailed analogy about this prioritizing features based on what matters most. Okay, now you have a short time to build the product. You have few resources. Let's say the budget for building this app that helps them find affordable campus. Let's say as a business, as a startup, you decide that okay, the budget that you have to build this app is let's say it's just a small startup, 1 million. Let's say they are managing just 1 million here. So you would focus on building features in terms of finance that will not consume too much of that money, right? Because you want the money to cover the real cost. 2, you also have time constraints. There's a particular time you need to deliver that thing. Since this idea now is a new one, is a new one. What to be racing against in terms of time is trying to put it there before others, in this case now. Because you already have an idea that, okay, students, they need to find affordable housing near campus. That's a business idea that can turn to a product. But like I said earlier, most of you are not joined the call then. The thing about ideas is that they are not unique to you. You had it doesn't mean you are the only one that had that idea. It's very tempting to want to believe that you are special and God gave you special. Yeah, God gave you, but He also gave other people that idea too. So you are in a race of who will do that thing first. Oh, okay. Oh my God. I wish like, okay, the experience in the industry will actually teach you that. Like, you might just be working on something and you just see your competitor has already bring it out, has already done that thing you want to do. Like, oh my God. So there's that time constraint. You need to root it that. It's just like, let's take any traditional business. You came to a new area and you found out, oh, there's no provision store in this area. And there are a lot of houses here. There are a lot of middle class earners in this place. So they have the money. The middle class earners, what matters the most to them is convenience. And they have the money to pay for that convenience. Someone that's on low budget will say, I go buy for street. Let me go to the market. But someone that's in middle class will be like, okay, or who on the upper class will be like, okay, why would I stress to go to the street? So they are looking for convenience. They are willing to pay for that convenience. So even if you put your prices high, they are willing to pay as long as they don't have to go to the market and all that. So you saw that business opportunity. So there's a problem here. People have to go all the way from this far place to the market to go and get things. There's no provision store here. Probably they have to leave only other kind of groceries like non-perishable goods. They need to go somewhere as far as Market Square or Hallmark to get it inside town. Can't I just bring it here? Or need to go to another street to get it? Can't I bring it to this street, to this place? You spot a business opportunity. But just the way you saw that opportunity, I don't think it's only you that have that idea or has seen that thing. Let's say there are more than 500 persons on that street. Do you really believe that out of 500 persons, just you saw that thing? Other persons have seen it too. So you are in an unseen competition to execute that idea you just had. And if you delay too much, someone else might, you just see tomorrow, someone will open the provision store and you're not selling. Like, oh, and I'm just get this idea. So sad. So the same in this scenario, we're in a time constraint, not because of some customers are complaining, but because we need to put this thing there fast as possible to ensure we take advantage of this opportunity. We become the first person to bring it out and capture as much market share as possible. So when other competitors are coming, they are like trying to like struggle with us to get, we've gotten most of the customers already. And we just have to maintain our service to ensure that our customers remain in love with our service. So there's a time constraint, there's a cost constraint. I need to now prioritize what are we going to build within this short time and within this small budget that we can build very fast and put out there. And not just put out there, it still satisfies these needs of our customer, which is it helps them find affordable campus. Now, there are various features that can be in this app. They can be a live map. I'm looking at my time, that's why. So it can be a live map, which rather than just seeing pictures, they can see exactly on a map, just like Google Maps, see exactly on the map where that building is, that vacant property is that they can rent, they can go to. It can even be a 3D view of the property, rather than just seeing pictures that you'll be sliding through. To be an immersive experience as if you are inside the building. How many of you have interacted with a 3D model before? I think Facebook have that. You can find 3D pictures on Facebook rather than just scrolling. It's more like it's usually used for housing anyway. They will show you the inside of your room as you are moving, scrolling to the other side, to the left side of the screen. It's like more like rotating and you're seeing everything. So I assume we will have that idea. So sorry about that. Okay. So all those amazing features and all that, and there's also the simple features as just seeing pictures of the building and all that inside. Now, those other two features I mentioned, they are actually complex and more expensive to build. Putting that live map, because you're going to pay for Google's service. Can you design the whole map of Benin City? But Google already has the map of Benin City. So rather than going to design it, you can just pay Google to use that app. We'll learn more about APIs and the rest later on. So, and your developer has to be very skilled to be able to do that. So you have to look, what is the skill of your developer? Is this something that he has to go and learn? Take like more time to learn to be able to do it? I also mentioned about your final project because you are going to do a final project by the end of this course, and you collaborate with uh, other people in other tracks, not just product management. The front end guys, if you are learning front end data analysis, you guys will work together and build a product. As a product manager, you will oversee them. So don't worry, don't be scared. You by the end of this course, you would have the expertise to do that. So let's say, for instance, those that you final year project now, those your colleagues that are learning front end and back end, even if they are just graduating, they are still amateurs. Like they are beginners. Sorry, not amateurs. Sorry, we misuse that word amateur in Nigeria. Amateur doesn't mean a beginner. It actually means someone that is skilled in something but is not using it professionally. It's more like, for instance, you might be a very skilled footballer. You play football in your street. Like you have a street club or something like where you guys play football matches. You play with against the other street. But you are not still a professional footballer and you are not earning from it. You are not like Osimhen that's earning, but you might be as good as Osimhen. So the right that English word means the right English description for such a person is basically an amateur. That means you are doing more like a hobby or something. But rather, what I mean to say that those your colleagues, they are beginners. They are saying beginner level. They may have built a lot of things, they have skills, but they have not faced some certain real life problems. And part of that your project, that's more reason why that or that's more reason for that your project is part of the experience they are going to build. They are going to face a real life problem to put those skills to use. So you can't start telling them to do something very, very advanced. Even if they can, but they might have to spend much time learning and practicing that thing before they build it. And you don't have time here. We're trying to save time and cost. So as a programmer, I will prioritize, I will focus on things that they can easily build. Let's say my developers now for this app want to build this affordable housing in campus, another skill, and also the money is going to cost. So I will just put that one on store. It's a good thing to have that map view, that 3D. There are all amazing features that will make user love our app, but for now, we can't build those things. So I'll put them first. So I'll prioritize the things that we can easily build, the pictures, the login, the security to log into the app and all that. And we'll focus on building those ones. By the end of it, our users don't know that they ought to be a map in that app or something. No, only we know that. But we would have given them a product that can help them solve this problem. Very basic product. Find affordable housing. So they can log on it, see pictures of affordable housing, and even reach out to the owner. Have we solved that problem or we've not solved it? We've solved it. And in Program Manager, that's what's called our MVP. I want to just rush through so that we get to those parts and see them. So you coordinate developers to build the app. I've explained this. They measure results. This is the business aspect. Because, like I said, your major reason for building a product is to make money. You're not doing charity. Even those charity apps, like I told you, that even those free apps you use, they are making money one way or the other. Even those ones that say they ought to be their charity apps, somebody is paying for that thing to run. We call those ones social impact apps. They are something like that. Like they have a sponsor or a donor. So you have to look at the business aspects. For you to make money for this app, you have to have a lot of users on this platform. Let's say you are charging my own product manager experience. I will not advise you charge the students come to visit the website. I'll say you charge the landlords and the tenants. By the time you've gotten more users, let's say there are over 1,000 since the school environment. Let's say the campus basically has a population of 6,000 students, and 3,000 of those students are using your platform to find housing. You've got a lot of audience, and they are finding those housing. You see that other landlords that were not once on your platform would want to join your platform. See, I heard that my other landlord, he put his list in and within 1 month, within a day, he got a new tenant. I was willing to pay the price that he gave and all that. So those ones I want to come, I can now start charging them. So I need this thing to grow. I'm looking at, are most students using this find housing platform? This one is to verify that this is even useful safe. After we've done our analysis and build this, like, are people even using this thing? Is it solving the problem I would say it's going to solve? Then this other I say is usage growing. That is the now focused on growth and profit. Like, are more people going to use it? Are we hitting our targets? Have we gotten to 3,000 users yet? Those kind of things. All right, we will learn all these things deeper into the course, but this is just an overview. There are types of product managers. You have a technical product manager. You work closely with engineers on complex back-end heavy products. I wish you guys were in the last class because this particular topic or this particular aspect of the course also have been covered in 2 days. So the people that haven't came yesterday, the lady that was here, the person that came yesterday, Basically, you guys are coming for the first time. So if you were here yesterday, we would have just continued. So I have to now come take it from the beginning again. But next week, first of all, I will need to know your seriousness by like we'll have to like visit the student portal. I'll put some quiz there. At least by the end of today, you can attempt those quiz, those knowledge, and you even see other materials you can also basically what we've covered. It will still be there for you to like revise if you need to. So there are types of product managers. There's technical product manager. How I'll explain this specialty, these types of product manager? There are basically three. There's the technical product manager, there's the growth product manager, there's the user experience. This UX, wherever you see it, just know it stands for user experience product manager. Now, let's go back to this Venn diagram that we had. You see there's UX, there's tech, there's business. A technical product manager is a product manager that has this product management skills that is intersect between these three, but has more specialty in the tech aspect. They are usually developers who became product managers. They're already building software and all that. So you see, those ones, they have more idea. They don't just tell the developers what to do. They know how the developers can build that thing. And they won't go as far. Remember I said that it's not really your business to need to tell them, oh, this is what the language you use and that. But a technical product manager is permitted to do that. And he's not just doing and the reason why he's permitted is not because of like more like his role gives him that permission. His specialty in this area gives him that permission. Let's say he's a developer that has been a developer before, so he knows how to guide other developers in doing what they need to do. You get? I'll give an example now, but I don't know if I still early in the course. I don't know if I should mention something like that. But let me do that one. I want product management secrets. So along the line, as we familiarize ourselves, we need to review some other things. So that's basically a technical product manager, and they are they have their own use depending on the industry they are working. Is it finance? Is it transportation? Like now, I've worked in finance. I've built a fintech app before. You can search on Play Store, leisurefinance.com. Leisure Finance. You can just visit the website leisurefinance.com. I'm currently in transportation, building an app, managing a product that been built for money. So I'll explain in what we're going to talk about the product life cycle. So those ones, that's what they do. Those ones, they speak the core language of developers. Like they can say, okay, use this stack, use Node.js to create the backend architecture. For the payment architecture, you can use Rust programming language. You want it to speak to the system on the device level. I want to reduce the compute resources. You see those terms? Me, I'm familiar with them because I work with these engineers, but I'm more on this side. This, all right. I have a deep expertise and insight in user behavior and user experience. And for someone looking to explore, choose product management as a career path, it's very advisable you start from here. So you're in the right hands. Can really guide you, train you, and mentor you how you can become an expert like myself. So that's for technical product managers. Then there's a growth product manager. They're more like these ones. It's more they have an advantage when they come from marketing side. Let's say the person was a marketer or a marketing manager, so he has a lot of experience in marketing basically, and now switch into becoming a product manager. It's easier for them. But when I say product manager, you can start from being a user experience product manager and probably switch specialization. It's not really switch, more like you can choose to specialize. So it's fluid, it's up to you. But being a user experience product manager is usually the standard industry requirements. Every product needs
Sorry, can any other person hear him?
All right.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
We couldn't hear you at a point.
Yeah, it was just network and Nigerian network and their switch. So
All right.
we're back on track. So every product needs a product manager that understands user behavior. Oh, I wish I can start revealing some kind of secrets to you. Even these very products that some of the products you use, you love them so much. You so as somebody you're addicted to them. You don't know the amount of user understanding that product manager put into to make that product so addictive that you can't let go. You use it always. Ah. There are some things that people feel almost unethical. Well, let me leave that. Yeah, there are some products that your behavior on how you use them has gone beyond just satisfaction you get. It has started exploring into neuropsychology. It's so deep rooted in your mind. Okay, let's leave that part. So that's why experience program managers are wanted in the industry a lot. All these other ones, they are rare requests. And that usually for special cases, rare requests. Okay, I need a technical program manager, I need a group program manager. So a group program manager, but it's something you can still learn and adapt to. But if you come from marketing, it's also a leverage, much easier. But doesn't mean you don't do anything about marketing as a program manager. All these terms you are familiar with them. I'm just saying like you now develop some sort of expert specialization in that part. Let me put it that way. More specialization. Doesn't mean because remember I showed you the Venn diagram, cuts across user experience, tech, and business. So as a program manager, you have knowledge and skills in those three areas. That's what it means. That's why you can be a bridge between the three. But if you not choose to specialize more in one area, so yeah, it focuses on metrics like user acquisition, retention, conversion. I think I will explain all this one later on the course, what user acquisition, retention, and conversion means. Runs experiments to drive growth. Is here you see A/B testing and all that. Basically, as manager, I do this a lot. So optimize the sign-up flow to reduce drop-off. This is just an example. Even I think I did this lately. Okay, no, it was on that product I was working on, the fintech product. So the sign-up process for one of the features we have was kind of complex. You just have to like type codes. It will send you a code to your email. You have to come to the app. As a program manager, I had to advise business owners and said, this thing is causing a lot of friction on the app. So they are trying to sign up for your app, not solve mathematics. So why are you not making them to memorize codes? And as little as that thing seems, some person might just look at it and just, especially people they're trying to use for the first time. Like they're just okay, let me go explore this product and see. It doesn't really. So it has not gotten to that point whereby it needs to multiply on its own. Like Opay now does its own about. In fact, you might have advertised or you don't have Opay. How do you have Opay? Download Opay now. It's Opay I will send to you. I can't send to another one. You're already a marketer for Opay. It's how good the product is and how they've proven to the market that their product is valuable and it solves the user needs. To the point that people need to adopt it on their own. They don't even need more push. So imagine for a new product trying to get into the market and the user is just trying to use it for the first time and they are doing something that's close to mathematics just to sign up. So I had to advise so we have to revisit the flow and like redesign something that's much easier because people like ease. People don't like software. They don't like stress. So as a program manager, especially with this your expertise, like you know what people want. You know what people want. And we give people what they want. They'll give you what you want. Okay, someone is raising their hand to ask a question. Is it a question? Okay, you can speak. You can mute and speak. Chine, Kristen. Chine. You can unmute your mic. Or you're not aware that your hands is raised up. Okay. Kristen Chine, you can unmute your mic and speak up so we can all hear you. You are free to. Can you hear me? Okay. Arinola.
Yes, sir.
Can you? Is it where you can unmute? Okay, they've already
Yeah.
asked that question. Don't worry. Don't worry. They've asked the
Yes.
question in the chat.
Okay, I've omitted that though. No, it's still muted.
Check the chat. Check the chat. You see.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah,
He said he's
yeah,
checked the
yeah.
chat.
It's too
All right, I've
noisy.
seen it. All right. So you said to talk
Like
more on
especially
technical
more on that
products. You mean the
technical
technical product
product.
manager?
Yes. Just throw more light
Okay.
on it.
Like I said, um, they usually they stem from a background in software engineering. They most likely had a background in software engineering. Let's say it was a front-end developer or a back-end developer. They really fit this role very well. Let's say it was a back-end developer. He has been a back-end developer for like 2 years, 3 years or more, and wants to pivot into product management, wants to become a product manager. No, when was that said? I think was it not early this year or late last year? A friend of mine, because I have a lot of I'm product manager, so I know a lot of technical people, founders, developers. So she reached out to me, and she's a AI and machine learning engineer, and she's working for this out. Have you heard of Our Doc? Like that startup that was done by Afroco Doctor. You know they did Twitter. All right. Sorry for using pidgin. Let me switch back to English. So she's working for that company. She's working for that company. She's basically one of the engineers, pioneering engineers that built their AI engine that powers their product. So she reached out to me and she was like, she's tired of writing code. Is there a way she can switch into product management? I should guide her. And that's amazing. I told her that actually that's great. The fact that you have experience in AI, because that's like where the world is going towards to now, especially internationally. Although in Nigeria we're more about finance and logistics. So, but artificial intelligence, I'm like, yeah, that's an emerging field, and it's going to be a very good leverage for you. So I basically guided her how to start her journey to product management and become a product manager. So basically, I'm like offering mentorship to her and all that. So, someone like her now, she already has an idea into writing codes and building very complex system. She would become it um, by the time she gets her. I don't. I've not been talk for some time now. Always busy. She's always busy. By the time she gets her first role as product manager, she's most likely going to be a technical product manager because she's not going to just be providing insights into user behavior, but also she can guide the engineering team on how to build the product. Remember I said as a product manager, it's not really your responsibility to tell them how. It's what. You tell them what to build, not how to build. You're overstepping boundaries when you begin to tell them how. Like that's their own expertise. Allow them to do their thing. But the only person permitted to do that is a technical product manager because okay, let me give you an example of where technical product manager. I don't want to say this, but let me give you an example of where they actually become very useful. I don't know your moral standing, so it may sound somehow to you, but that's just how the world works. Um, Boats, for instance. Okay, this didn't happen with boats. This happened with another startup, another company in Italy, but they are doing something like boats for deliveries. So still delivery. They were looking for how to reduce the amount of money they spend on their riders. But they don't call the riders. They call them entity, resource. But you will not hear that term outside. Within the team, they are just called entity, human resource. In codes, in the backend code, where you're writing code, I wish I could start explaining. Maybe an engineer will explain it better. But as you need to, when you start your career as a product manager, you need to interact with engineers and the rest. Like you need to pick up these terms in the industry, so it will come naturally to you. It's not something to bother about going from now. So even in the codes they write, they don't refer to them as riders. The code just sees it as some entity that it uses to achieve its goal. The code. So the program manager had to come up with ideas to cheat the riders. So you it's my side as cheating. I'm sorry to use that word cheat, but I need to use that. I need to use it because that's where you understand it. But for some program management term, I won't use that word cheat. Program manager was basically trying to satisfy the business goal. The board of executives have met the program manager like, is there any way we can maximize revenue from this product? Okay, we already have like 10,000. Sorry, we already have like 2,000 riders on our platform. We have like 5,000 users or using our platform to order food every day. It was a foreign company anyway. Every day. It's the only way we can, instead of focusing on increasing users, can't we maximize what we already have and make more money from it? Yes, we can. Now, they now started studying the behavior. They designed an algorithm and deployed it in the code. It's a technical program manager now that will know how to go about this. That studies the behavior of the users. Okay, this part will go too fast. Let me pick on that because of time. I don't want to. I realize I'll spend a lot of time analyzing this example. Let me just pick a very short one. Maybe later on, because bring up that question, but you can meet me up in my DM and we'll just talk about that. And this is more important why you have to be in classes. If I covered this yesterday, we're going to cover more. So a good example of where technical program management come in place. There was a boutique agency. What we call boutique agency in software and IT industry is not your normal boutique. It's more like a small organization, a team of experts, professionals. Let's say there's a program manager on the team. In fact, I once worked to a boutique agency. The program manager on the team, they are like software engineers, they're also designers, and they come together and they can just call themselves space technologies. And what they do is that they help people build websites and apps. So you hire them, they have the whole team to build it for you. So a boutique agency, that's what we call them, depending on their size. Boutique basically is to show that they are a small team. So the agency built a product for a client, and they also signed a contract to continue to maintain. That's why they had a program manager. Program manager is responsible for maintaining it, to maintain that product. So the company was still going to, but they needed to make more money from the client. You know what the program manager told them, technical program manager? He showed them a line of code in the back end responsible for how responsive the app will be. And he told them to change a parameter there. Let's say the app was supposed to load in 0.2 seconds. He told them a parameter they would change that made the app start loading in like 1 second. So the app naturally will feel slower. When a user clicks something and also load in an instant, to start taking time to load. And he himself now advised the client and tell them, say, you need to pay for optimization. We can optimize this thing for you and make it run faster. This is why I wanted to introduce this thing to you guys. I'm not saying that's what we do every day at Program Manager, but mostly technical project managers, they can, businesses, as to you it may sound unethical, but to a business, that's what they need to make more money. As long as the users don't even know what's going on. Okay, let me not sound like a bad guy. So basically, he told them to do that, and the app was feeling slow, and you can have to pay more. So more money for the organizations, more money for them to pay their clients. They can increase the developer salary and all that, and they can live a good life. But why giving the client the impression they are offering value? So they are basically offering value. So that's it. So it takes the insight of a technical program manager to know what to do in that case. He knows how codes work. He knows what to be altered. So if you want to learn, if that's not okay for you to just reach out to me in my DM, I'll talk more about it. So because this call is also end by 2:15. I already have less than 5 minutes. Next week we're going to have a physical class. We have it just for a few hours. Although for those that may not be able to join physically, they may still be able to join virtually. But I would advise you come, be in the room for that physical class. And then maybe I will have to, because there's so much that you guys have missed out to be covered in week 1. Because you guys didn't resume early, it's just more onboarding and all that. And we still have to like introduce other concepts rather than moving on to a new topic following week. So the key responsibilities of a product manager: user research. They are responsible for user research. We saw that in that example of the student campus thing. I had to go and conduct interview, I had to learn, I had to hear from students themselves, I had to understand what their needs, their problems, their real problem and all that, their behavior, what they would like, what they would want. They're also responsible for product strategies, setting a clear vision and long-term direction for the product. So yeah, there's something about product vision. I mentioned earlier about product vision, like when I made an example of Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook and all that. Like the product I'm currently managing, we have a product vision. Of course, I can't mention that it's classified, but you are responsible as a product manager to set that product vision. Let me use a very public example. Like WhatsApp, I mentioned WhatsApp, right? That after some time they added status, they added video call. Those things were not there in the beginning. Now, funny enough, I shock you to know. I shock you to tell you that the product manager already knew. In fact, the whole development team already knew they were going to build those features. It is you that seeing that new innovation and stuff like that. It was already on their product vision and roadmap that somewhere along the line, in so year, or so time of the hit setting goals, they will add certain features to the product. So it's the responsibility of the product manager to create that vision, basically. Road mapping, same thing. Then feature definition. That's why I mentioned that, for instance, my developers want to tell them, okay, we want to be in the future, I have to write a product requirement document for them. That's under feature definition is your work. Then team collaboration. I told you that as a product manager, you're not like you don't employ that boss attitude. You're not the boss of the team. You are more like a collaborator with them, and it's your duty to ensure that they are in sync with each other rather than having conflict and all that. So team collaboration, data and metrics, able to track performance, analyze results, and adjust based on real feedback. I think I've touched on that, but we'll learn more about it because all these things are individual topics as we go forward. Stakeholder management, communicating clearly with leadership, you have to have good communication skills. You have to have, because you do a lot of communication. You have to have good communication skills. Professional communication skills, corporate communication skills, leadership skills also, because you are dealing with different aspects, different people, different expertise and all that. So before we would end this call, let's just quickly brush through product life cycle. Okay. So I'll move from next week. We'll just begin from something else. Okay, you can see this diagram here, right? Can you guys see it? I believe you can all see the slide. Now, this is what we call a product life cycle. It begins from development, introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. Now, notice that every single product you use have a day they are going to die. Nothing lasts forever. Your work as a product manager is to try to extend this life cycle. Make sure you stay more in the market. For example, BlackBerry Messenger. So there was a time it was everywhere. What was WhatsApp? There's nothing like WhatsApp. BlackBerry Messenger was in vogue. Let me use that word. Was in vogue. If you're not on BlackBerry Messenger, you are low class. So everybody was struggling to be on BlackBerry Messenger or to own a BlackBerry. But where is BlackBerry Messenger today? It has reached. It got to its peak. It started from when it was being developed. It was introduced in market. Then it started growing. That was when everybody wanted to own a BlackBerry so that they could use BlackBerry Messenger rather. It got to its maturity stage. I think that was around 2012, 2014. Got to its maturity stage. In fact, they even made an Android app because that's when Android started becoming popular in the African market. People started buying Android phones, and BlackBerry now had the Android app. So even Android users wanted to use BlackBerry. They were downloading BlackBerry Messenger. That was in its maturity. Market saturation, increase in sales, growth stabilizes. They were the Lord then. Then they got to the decline phase. Other options came out. People started preferring to use WhatsApp than BlackBerry Messenger. People started picking Android than BlackBerry phones. And their major selling points or entry point to join BlackBerry Messenger was to own a BlackBerry. So if less people were using BlackBerry, because less people were using BlackBerry Messenger too. People that were using BlackBerry Messenger realized their friends were now on iMessage and WhatsApp. And I said, okay, let me just download those ones too. And that was how they started joining their friends on those platforms. So it got to its death. Every product has its end stage. Some may not just die off like BlackBerry Messenger. Some will become what we call legacy products. They are still useful. In fact, they are so important that they can't just totally go away. But the level amount of users they have are on an all-time low. We call them legacy products. Now, let me give you an example of a legacy product. Okay, this example would I give to you that you would understand, because the examples I have in my mind, they are not, it's not something you're maybe familiar with. All right. Okay. Anyway, let me just give it to you. So, cut time. And next week we should be able to settle down more on those things, and I will even revisit this topic, these concepts again, because I really want you to understand it. Because we're going to be referring to it a lot, and it's very important for your career. So, there's a programming language called Kobo. Kobo. That's what it's called. Now, Kobo was used in the 1970s, 1960s, and all that to develop most of the applications they're using then. These days, they have a lot of programming language. There's Flutter, Python, and all that. That's why I said this example is a little bit on the upside. So, but today, people are no longer using Kobo as they used to. They're now using more modern languages that are faster and easier to learn. That word, easier to learn. Because Kobo was not as easy. Coming to just learning few words and syntax on Python or Node.js. They keep making the programming language more easier so that a lot of people can get in. So, but a lot of finance infrastructure still run on Kobo. So that's why Kobo has not died completely. Today, they still employ engineers. Yes, there is. It will be available by the end of today. I would speak with the admin. She has to like create a group chat for product management, then so I can easily pass information. But if that's not the case, she'll just reach out to you probably privately or post on the group chat, so you can access what we call the student portal. So on the student portal, I'll drop resources there, materials that you can read, of even what we've done already, and quiz and assignments. Yeah, you must do. Please, those quiz and assignments will be used to grade your performance in the course and use for the final evaluation at the end of this program. So attempt them and it also help you to learn. So Kobo, but there are some companies, banks that still employ engineers. They are still looking for engineers that know how to write codes in Kobo, and they pay them a lot of money because it's so rare now. Kobo is now what we call a legacy product. The reason why they are looking for them is because many of the infrastructure those banks are running on, software infrastructure, were written in Kobo far back in 1970 and 1980, and they can't change it now if you want to disrupt a lot of things. But although the world have advanced beyond that, so they still need few people that may still be able to do those things. So Kobo is not a legacy product. It's not in vogue. Nobody is going to build a new website and use Kobo. What is Kobo? That's a very archaic language, but it's still a little bit relevant because it's important. Also, is a legacy product. Somebody is maintaining the it may sound strange to you, but somebody's maintaining the language. Yeah, so that's why I said it's like on the advanced side. Somebody's maintaining it, ensuring that new things are added, bugs are fixed, and things are corrected. So I will let you go through this so that I don't take too much of your time, because this class is supposed to end by 2:15. Maybe next time I'll put a timer. Once it's 2:15, the class will end automatically, so it will help me stay more on time. I'll let you go through this, but I think I've briefed through it. But in the next class, I'm going to revisit it again and properly go through them. I'll just give you a brief. The incline stage. And this diagram, I love it. You need to know it. There's the end of life here, life cycle. This product market fits. I mentioned MVP earlier, during my explanation. MVP basically means minimum viable product. You know what? Next week, I will just revisit these parts because they are core concepts that I want you to understand as a product manager. You need to understand them, and also going forward in the course, you're going to find these terms more and more. You need to mention them more and more. So, but nevertheless, you're in the right hands, and I'm more concerned about you understanding and growing. So, before we close the call, if you have a question, any question that I can just easily answer and call, maybe one or two, but you can always reach out to me. If you don't have a question right now, probably when you visit the resource, I said that you're going to have access to student portal, There are quizzes you're going to answer. There's material there, you can also read it. If you have questions, you can write them down. In the next class, you ask them. But if you have a question right now, the floor is open. You can just signify by raising up your hand. Oh, I just clicked that. You can signify by raising up your hand. Then, so you can ask a question. Anybody? All right. So I assume you are still here to digest them, but please and please attempt those quiz questions. There are going to be quiz questions on the student portal to help you to show that you truly have digest what you've learned. Attempt them. In the next class, we'll visit this diagram again because I want you to understand all this. Then we'll advance to a different topic. And please answer the quiz question as I said. To also give me an idea of where you are in your understanding level of the topics so I can actually know where to come in and help you. Because it is my goal that product management becomes because it's one of the easiest fields to transition into in tech. And I want to make sure that it's as easy as much as possible for you. And I tell you, you can make a very, very good career out of it as a product manager. The pay is good. All right. In the absence of any question, I'll be ending class here today. See you guys next week, Tuesday. I believe you have access to the timetable. So please take note of the time so you join the class early and I don't have to be going back to explain that. Right? Take note of the time. Go and look at the timetable, know the time. 2:15 or whatever time we're beginning. It's 11:45 we're beginning, 11:45 we're here and I will started. And next time I think I won't have to be going back again if a new person joins the class. Okay, thank you very much for joining and see you next week Tuesday, probably in the physical class or virtually again. I would advise you be in the physical class. Just brief, 2 hours, we're done. All right, thank you very much. Have a nice day. Ariana, you can end this call. Arinola.
Sir?
Yeah. Do you have the?
What did you say?
Okay. Wait, don't worry. I'll reach out to you privately.
Okay.
For the students, you are free to leave the call now. The class has ended. Thank you very much for joining. Okay. Arinola, are you there? Or let me call
Yes,
you,
I'm here,
please.
sir.
Okay.
Yes, you
I'll
can call
address
me,
you as.
please.
Do you have the admin control, like to remove people from the call?
You said?
Do you have the admin control to be able to remove